It opened last Tuesday. My daughter minus and minus law, Amanda said, not even looking up from her phone. That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. My name's Teddy Walsh. I'm 57. And I just found out I wasn't invited to my own son's restaurant opening. The restaurant I'd invested $350. Sorrow of my retirement money in. Let me back up a bit. I spent 30 years in software engineering, building systems, debugging problems, making sure things worked the way they were supposed to. Started right out of college at 27. Worked my way up from junior developer to senior consultant. Built up a decent nest egg. Sold my consulting business 2 years ago when I hit 55th. The plan was simple: enjoy retirement. Help my kids when they needed it. Maybe do some traveling with my late wife's bucket list. She passed 3 years ago. Cancer. That's when family became everything to me. When my son Ben came to me last summer with his restaurant idea, I was proud. Really proud. Here was my boy, 35 years old, finally ready to chase his dream. He'd been working in kitchens since he was 18, learning the trade, saving up. This was his moment. Dad, I need your help, he'd said, sitting at my kitchen table with this thick business plan. Professional-looking thing, bound and everything. The bank approved $200,000, but I need another $350. Zorro to make this work. Equipment build-out, operating capital for the first year. He paused, looked me right in the eye. This isn't just a loan. You'd be a partner. The official paperwork, profit sharing, everything legal and clean. I flipped through the business plan. Market analysis, financial projections, menu concepts. The kid had done his homework. What does Amanda think about all this? I asked. She's excited. She's going to handle the business side while I focus on the kitchen. We make a good team. I wrote that check the same day. $350. I didn't even hesitate. This was my son we're talking about, and I had the money sitting in retirement accounts. Earning nothing. Better to invest in family, right? Partners. Ben had said, shaking my hand. Partners, I agreed. That was August 28th. Best day I'd had since my wife's funeral. But standing on their doorstep 8 months later with a bottle of champagne, hearing Amanda tell me the opening happened a week ago without me, something clicked in my engineer brain. Data doesn't lie, and this data wasn't adding up. We kept it small, Amanda said, still scrolling through her phone. Designer case, latest iPhone. Just close family and friends. Close family. I gave you people $350,000, and I'm not close family? Behind her, I could see into the living room. Shopping bags everywhere. Nordstrom, Saks, some high-minus-end makeup store I'd never heard of. The coffee table was covered with packages from Amazon still unopened. Where's Ben? I asked. Kitchen. Busy. She finally looked up. Why didn't you just call first? Because I wanted to surprise my son at his restaurant opening, I thought. Because I brought champagne to celebrate with my business partner. I pulled out my phone, dialed Ben. He answered on the third ring, kitchen noise in the background. Dad, I'm swamped right now. Can we talk later? Your wife just told me the restaurant opened last week. Silence. Then yeah, we meant to call. It was crazy, you know? Oh. It's opening. Just testing things out. Meant to call. I invested $350. About euro when they meant to call about the soft opening. I'm standing on your doorstep with champagne, Ben. Dad, I really can't talk right now. We're slammed. Green check. Click. He hung up on me. I looked at Amanda. She'd gone back to her phone, typing something. The screen lit up her face, and I could see a notification pop up. Something about a trading app. Read numbers. Losses. That's when my software engineer brain really kicked in. See, I spent 3 decades analyzing systems, finding bugs, tracking down problems. When something doesn't work right, you don't ignore it. You dig into the code until you find what's broken. And right then, looking at Amanda's face in the glow of that phone screen, surrounded by shopping bags and a house I'd basically paid for. I knew I was looking at a major system failure. I went home and did what I do best. I started digging into the data. First thing I checked was the business registration. Should have done this months ago. But I'd trusted my son. Harvest Grain LLC registered August 20th, 2023. Ben came to me for money on August 28th. 8 days. They'd registered the company 8 days before asking for my investment. I stared at that screen for a long time. This wasn't an oversight. This wasn't "we'll add you to the paperwork later." This was planning. They'd formed the company without me, then came asking for my money with promises of partnership that they'd never intended to keep. I called my daughter Kate in Seattle. She's a financial analyst, sharp as they come. Got my analytical brain, but better people skills. Dad, that doesn't sound right. She said over video chat. If you were supposed to be a partner from day one, your name should have been on the original filing. Hey, that's what I thought. Want me to run some background checks? I've got access to credit monitoring systems through work. Is that legal? Public records, Dad. All above board. 2 days later, Kate called back. Her voice was tight, professional. The voice she uses when she's delivering bad news to clients. Dad, sit down. I sat. Amanda's got serious financial problems. Credit card debt, trading losses, the works. I'm seeing $140, zero in total debt obligations. My chest felt tight. $140,000? Multiple credit cards maxed out. Cryptocurrency trading account with massive losses. Day trading apps showing consistent negative returns. This all started ramping up about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, right around when Ben started seriously dating Amanda. Dad, there's more. I'm seeing recent large payments to these accounts. Cash transfers. Lump sums. The timing matches up with when you gave them the money. I felt sick. My retirement money hadn't gone to restaurant equipment. It had gone to pay off Amanda's gambling debts. $140,000 in debt. My retirement money had gone straight into Amanda's financial black hole. Does Ben know? I asked Kate. I doubt it. The accounts are all in her name. She's been intercepting mail, probably handling all the household finances. Classic financial abuse pattern, except she's the one doing the abusing. After we hung up, I sat in my home office for hours, staring at spreadsheets, trying to make sense of it all. I'd built my career on solving problems. But this wasn't code I could debug. This was family. But maybe I was thinking about it wrong. Maybe I needed to treat this like any other investigation. I hired a private investigator. Oliver Martinez came recommended by my attorney, former Portland PD, specialized in financial fraud cases. I need to know exactly where my money went. I told him over coffee at a diner downtown. Every dollar. Every transaction. Oliver was a big guy. Late 40 seconds. Kind of quiet confidence you get from years of dealing with liars. That's going to require some serious digging. Digital forensics, bank record analysis. It won't be cheap. I don't care what it costs. What's your end game here? You want to sue? Press charges. Good question. What did I want? My money back? Justice? Revenge? I want the truth. Whatever that leads to. Oliver nodded. Give me 2 weeks and $5,000. I'll get you answers. While Oliver worked his magic, I started doing my own reconnaissance. I visited the restaurant 3 times that first week, and just a regular customer, eating dinner, observing. The food was incredible. Ben had real talent, no question about that. The place was busy, good reviews on Yelp. Customers seemed happy. From the outside, it looked like a success story, but I noticed things. Amanda working the front, always on her phone between customers. 2 different tablets on her station. The main point minus of minus sales system. And something else she kept checking constantly. The 3rd night I went in, I sat at the bar, ordered the salmon. Amanda was having a heated phone conversation in the back office, door cracked open. No, I understand you have other clients, she was saying, voice tight with stress. But we had an agreement. 2 more weeks. That's all I need. Pause. If you cut us off now, after everything we've paid you, I will personally make sure every restaurant in Portland knows how you treat your customers. She hung up, stood there for a moment, then smoothed her hair and walked back out front like nothing happened. Supplier problems. That explained the stress. When she passed my seat, I got a clear view of her second tablet. Cryptocurrency trading app, real minus time charts, read numbers everywhere. She was day trading during dinner service, watching her losses pile up in real time. I took a discreet photo with my phone. 2 weeks later, Oliver called me back to the diner. He spread a manila folder across the table between us. Thick folder. Your son doesn't know, he said without preamble. That's the good news. The bad news is worse than you thought. He opened the folder. Bank statements, credit card records, trading app screenshots, receipt copies. Total investment from you $350,000. The legitimate business expenses $180,000 th. That part's clean. Equipment, build out permits, licenses, insurance. All above board. He flipped to another section. The remaining $170. Zorro went to Amanda's personal finances. $140,000 to pay off existing debts, mostly credit cards and crypto trading losses. The other $30,000 went to new spending. Shopping, more trading, cash advances. I stared at the numbers. She hadn't just stolen my money to pay old debts. She'd used it to fund new ones. How long has she been hiding this from Ben? Best I can tell, about 18 months. She's been intercepting all financial mail, handling the restaurant books herself, showing him fake invoices for the excess expenses. Oliver pulled out a stack of fabricated receipts. Professional looking, complete with letterhead and invoice numbers. All fake. She told him these were equipment overruns, permit fees, inspection costs. Your son thinks every penny of your investment went into legitimate business expenses. So Ben really doesn't know she's been stealing. Your son is a victim here too. She's been manipulating him as much as you. That should have made me feel better. It didn't. There's more, Oliver said. She's still actively trading during business hours. Still shopping online using business credit lines. The bleeding hasn't stopped. He showed me real minus time screenshots from her trading apps. Losses from just the past week. She's addicted. Shopping addiction, gambling addiction, maybe both. This isn't going to get better on its own. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not just anger anymore. Something more focused. What are my legal options? Obligated. The money was given to your son as an investment. Technically, it became marital property. Unless you can prove fraud with intent to deceive. Can you prove that? Oliver smiled. Not a nice smile. Already have. The fake invoices, the intercepted mail, the false statements about business expenses. That's textbook fraud. I drove home with Oliver's folder on my passenger seat. 40 pages of evidence proving my daughter Minus in Minus Law was a thief and my son was her victim. But I also felt something else building inside me. The same feeling I used to get when I found a critical bug in production code. That moment when you realize the whole system is broken and you're the only one who can fix it. I called Ben that night. We need to talk. Dad, I'm really busy with the restaurant, Ben. My voice went flat controlled. 30 years of managing software crises had taught me how to project calm authority. We need to talk. Tonight, my house. 8 p.m. Silence on the other end. Is everything okay? That's what we're going to find out. He showed up at 8:15, looking tired but curious, still wearing his chef's whites from the dinner service. I'd spread Oliver's evidence across my dining room table. Bank statements, credit card records, fake invoices, trading logs. Everything organized chronologically, like a timeline of betrayal. Sit down, I said. He sat, looked at the papers, frowned. What is all this? Your wife's real financial history. Every transaction, every debt, every lie. His face went white as he started reading. This can't be right. It's right. Every number, every transaction. Your wife has been stealing from both of us. Ben kept reading, flipping pages. When he got to the fake invoice section, his hands started shaking. She told me these were real. Equipment overruns, inspection fees. She lied. To both of us. $140. Zorro and hidden debts, Ben, and she used my investment money to pay them off. Dad, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Looking at his face, seeing the shock and betrayal, I believed him. My son was as much a victim as I was. That didn't change what needed to happen next. Ben sat there staring at the evidence for what felt like hours. When he finally looked up, his eyes were red. What do we do now? He asked. Good question. What do you do when someone steals from your family? When they manipulate your son and drain your retirement savings? We could go to the police, I said. Oliver thinks we have a solid fraud case. That would destroy the restaurant. Destroy everything I've worked for. Amanda already destroyed it. I'm just documenting the wreckage. Ben winced. She's sick, Dad. This is addiction. She needs help, not prison. She needs consequences. We argued for another hour. Ben wanted to handle it privately, get Amanda into therapy, work out some kind of payment plan. I wanted justice. Public, obvious justice. You don't understand, Ben said finally. If this gets out, I'm finished in Portland. No one will trust me. No one will work with me. You're not the criminal here. Doesn't matter. In this business, reputation is everything. If people think I can't manage my own finances, can't control my own wife, I'm done. He had a point, but I was past caring about his reputation. I'm making a documentary. I told him. What? I spent my career solving problems, documenting systems. Showing people how things really work. This is just another system that needs debugging. Dad, please. Don't do this. She stole $170,000 from me. From us. From your future. She needs to face consequences. Ben left that night angry. Didn't speak to me for 3 weeks. But I'd made my decision. I set up cameras in my home office. The same space where I used to debug code problems. Started with the timeline, walking through each piece of evidence. Bank statements, fake invoices, trading logs. I kept it factual, professional, just the data. August 20th, I said to the camera. Harvest Grain LLC registered. Owners listed Benjamin Walsh, Amanda Walsh. No mention of any other investors. August 28th. Benjamin Walsh requests $350,000 investment from his father, with promises of partnership and profit sharing. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was using the same methodical approach I'd used for software documentation. Problem analysis, evidence gathering, step minus by minus step explanation of system failures. But I also had something else. Something that would make this documentary more than just dry financial analysis. Oliver had installed a discreet security camera in the alley behind the restaurant, technically legal since it was a public space, though the audio pickup was questionable. We'd meant it for surveillance, but we caught something better. The night Ben finally confronted Amanda about the debts. $140,000. Ben's voice, shocked and hurt, coming through the open kitchen window. Amanda, you told me those were business expenses. They were business expenses. Her voice, defensive, getting louder. The business needed Nordstrom. Isn't a business expense. Crypto trading isn't a business expense. You don't understand the pressure. I'm under. Pressure? I work 16 minus our days while you've been stealing from my father. It went on for an hour. Her admitting to the debts. Him realizing how deep the lies went. The moment she confessed to using business credit lines for personal trading. The moment he understood she'd been manipulating him for months. By the end, Ben was crying. actually crying. How am I supposed to trust you? How am I supposed to look my father in the eye knowing what you've done? That audio became the emotional centerpiece of my documentary. I worked on it for 6 weeks. 45 minutes of pure facts and dry emotion. The timeline, the evidence, the audio of Ben's world falling apart. I called it The Investment, a case study in financial fraud and family betrayal. Then I made it public. I rented the Hollywood Theater in Portland's Southeast District. Big enough for 300 people. Professional screening room. Perfect for what I had in mind. I created a Facebook event documentary premiere financial fraud and family business. Sent invitations to every restaurant owner, food critic, culinary professional, and business journalist in Portland. Posted it on LinkedIn, Twitter, local business forums. A true story about investment fraud, family betrayal, and the price of trust. Within 48 hours, 250 people at our SVPD. Portland's food scene loves drama, and this promised to be spectacular. I called Ben the day before the screening. Don't do this, Dad. It's already done. Screenings tomorrow night, 7 p.m. You'll destroy me. Amanda destroyed you. I'm just showing people what happened. I'll never forgive you for this. Maybe not. But everyone will know the truth. I hung up and immediately regretted it, but it was too late to back down now. The night of the screening, I stood outside the Hollywood Theater watching people file in. Restaurant owners I recognized from food magazines, critics from the Oregonian and Willamette Week, culinary school instructors, food bloggers with their cameras ready, and in the front row, Ben and Amanda. They come because I'd made it clear that if they didn't show up, I'd release the full documentary online immediately, unedited, with no chance for them to respond. Amanda looked terrible. Hollow eyes, nervous energy. She knew what was coming. Ben just looked resigned, defeated. I took the stage before the lights dimmed. Thank you all for coming, I said to the packed theater. What you're about to see is a true story about family, trust, and the price of betrayal. It's also a case study in how financial fraud can destroy not just businesses, but relationships. I paused, looked directly at Ben in the front row. Some of you know my son Benjamin Walsh, chef and owner of Harvest Grain. What you don't know is the real story behind his restaurant's financing. The lights dimmed. The documentary began. For 45 minutes, the audience watched Amanda's fraud unfold on screen, saw the bank transfers, heard the timeline of lies, witnessed the moment Ben discovered his wife had been stealing from his father. The restaurant kitchen audio was devastating. You could hear Ben's heart breaking in real time, his voice cracking as he realized the scope of Amanda's deception. When Amanda's voice came through the speakers admitting to the gambling debts, admitting to the fake invoices, someone in the audience actually gasped. During the section about day trading during dinner service, I heard someone whisper, Jesus Christ. The documentary ended with me speaking directly to the camera. Family businesses require trust. That trust, once broken, affects not just the family involved, but the entire community that supports them. The question we all have to ask is, how do we hold people accountable while still believing in second chances? The credits rolled. Silence for maybe 5 seconds. Then applause, starting scattered, building quickly. Within seconds, half the theater was on their feet. They were applauding for me, for my courage in exposing the truth, for my documentary skills, for my willingness to air family problems in service of business transparency. It should have felt like victory. Instead, I looked at the front row. Amanda was crying, head in her hands. Ben was staring straight ahead, frozen. 300 people giving me a standing ovation while my son's life crumbled in front of me. The QA session after the screening was brutal. How does it feel to expose your own family like this? Asked a food blogger. Camera rolling. Sometimes the truth hurts, I answered. But families can't heal from lies. What's next for Harvest Grain? Asked a restaurant critic. I looked toward the front row. Ben and Amanda's seats were empty. They'd slipped out during the applause. That's up to Ben, I said. But I knew the answer. The restaurant was finished. No one in Portland's tight-knit food community would work with someone whose family finances were this messy. Fair or not, Ben's reputation was destroyed. I found him in the parking lot afterward, sitting on the curb beside his car. Alone. Amanda was gone. You happy now? He asked without looking up. I sat down next to him. The asphalt was cold through my jeans. No, I'm not happy. Then why did you do it? I thought about that for a long time. Why had I done it? Justice, pride, revenge, because she stole from me, and I needed everyone to know. She stole from both of us. But you just stole my future. He was right. And trying to expose Amanda, I destroyed Ben too. The documentary proved she was a thief, but it also made him look like either an accomplice or a fool. Neither was true, but public perception doesn't care about nuance. I can't work in Portland anymore, Ben said quietly. Maybe not anywhere. This thing will follow me everywhere. Ben, I don't. He stood up, walked to his car. Just don't. He drove away, left me sitting there in that parking lot surrounded by the wreckage of my revenge. That was for months ago. Amanda moved back to California, supposedly getting help for her addictions. Ben closed the restaurant 6 weeks later. Couldn't make the lease payments without my investment. Last I heard, he was working as a prep cook at some chain place in Beaverton, living with a friend, trying to stay invisible. My $350,000 was gone. My son wasn't speaking to me. He'd won the war and lost everything that mattered. Kate came down from Seattle 2 weeks ago. We sat in my kitchen, same place where Ben had first pitched his restaurant idea. You know what you have to do, she said. What's that? Fix it. Help him start over. Be his father instead of his prosecutor. He doesn't want my help. Then make him an offer he can't refuse. Not money with strings attached. Real help. A real second chance. Like what? Kate pulled out her laptop. Started typing. Food carts. Low overhead. No investors to worry about cash business. There's a good spot opening up on Division Street. You could lease it for him. Cover startup costs. Let him build his reputation back up slowly. I watched her pull up listings, calculate costs, map out a business plan. My daughter, the financial analyst, solving problems the same way I taught her. With data and logic and systematic thinking. How much? $45,000 for the cart, permits, and 6 months operating capital. But Teddy, she looked at me seriously. This isn't about the money. This is about trust. You broke something between you two. Money won't fix that. She was right. But maybe money could create an opportunity for something better. I bought the food cart the next day. Vintage Estrema trailer, completely renovated professional kitchen setup. Perfect for a chef who needed to start over. I texted Ben, I have something for you. No strings. Just coffee and a conversation. He texted back 2 hours later why. I took a photo of the food cart, keys in my hand. Sent it to him. Because I remember you at 10 years old, making pancakes on Sunday mornings. You burnt half of them. But you served them anyway with this huge smile. I said they were perfect because you made them. That part was true. My phone rang 5 minutes later. Dad? Yeah, kiddo. Can we talk? We met at a coffee shop on Division Street, half a mile from where the food cart was parked. Ben looked tired but clean, like he'd been taking care of himself despite everything. I don't deserve this, he said, looking at the cart photos on my phone. Deserve doesn't enter into it. You're my son. That's not conditional. But after everything that happened, you're still my son. Amanda made her choices. I made mine. Now we get to make new ones. He started crying. Not the broken sobbing from the kitchen audio, but quiet tears of relief. I miss cooking, he said. Real cooking. Not just following someone else's recipes. So cook. Start small. Build it back up. No investors this time except me. And I'm not looking for profit sharing. I'm looking for my son to be happy. What if I fail? Then you fail. We figure out what comes next. Together. We spent 3 hours in that coffee shop, talking about menus and permits and health inspections, planning his comeback. But really, we were planning how to be a family again. The food cart opened last month. Second harvest, Ben called it. Simple menu. Fresh ingredients. Honest food. He's working 12 minus our days, building a reputation one customer at a time. I stop by twice a week. Not to check on my investment, just to eat my son's cooking. Sometimes we talk about the restaurant, about Amanda, about what went wrong. Sometimes we just talk about baseball. Yesterday he made me scrambled eggs on a food cart griddle, same way he did when he was 10. Slightly overcooked, but I told him they were perfect. Because they were. Not because they were cooked perfectly, but because my son made them for his father, and we were together again. Revenge might feel good in the moment, but it leaves you empty afterward. Family, though? Family fills you up. Even when it's messy, even when it costs you everything you have. I learned it the hard way. Hopefully, it's not too late to learn it the right way, too. Sometimes the most expensive lessons aren't the ones that cost you money minus. They're the ones that cost you the people you love most. I spent 30 years debugging computer systems, but it took losing my son to learn that some problems can only be fixed with forgiveness, not revenge.